Hey, cats, good morning to you. Got a couple topics for you here. We're going to start off with an article about Tokyo, Japan. We're going to talk about the Norwegian government funding some extremely odd research. We're going to talk about Desantis, absolute murderer. And we're going to talk about flyer Ivan Propov, right? But you know the deal. You want to hit? There you go. We're coming to get you! Hey, deplorables, welcome in. Good morning to you. Thanks for coming. So we're going to touch off with Tokyo, Japan, right? Article out of Bloomberg here. You got to use that leftist rag so they have to argue with their own logic, right? Tokyo now being held up as one of their utopias. It's anywhere but Mercus. But it goes on to talk about how they've built this great mega metropolis, which is the opposite of every other, as far as great, clean, walkable streets, great public transportation system, low crime, overall pollution, low to no homelessness, and no inequalities, right? While I could care less about the whole inequality bullshit, everything else sounds great. It is great. You know, low crime, everybody wants that. No pollution. You don't want to see your fellow countrymen, suffer or, go without. But the fact that, what really seems to be being missed out on is, how did this happen, right? Where does this start? And it starts from a core set of values, beliefs, and morals, right? And, again, this shows that diversity is a weakness. Japan is 98.4% homogenous, right? And, again, this doesn't pertain to race. You could do this without the race issue. It is fully a culture. The reason I'm pointing out the homogeneity is because they've been able to keep their core set of values and beliefs traditional for centuries. And it's paid off in dividends, obviously. It's when you have diversity, it ultimately creates strife, conflict, and just a clash of ideas, on a more so than not basis. It's that's just part of being different. That's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But move 4 different people into your house from 4 different backgrounds. And, you're going to have no-go zones in your own joint. I mean, whether that's from the slop or just you're not getting along with one of them. I mean, it's bound to happen. And, so I'm definitely not preaching separatism. My personal life I'm not going to get too far into. But, it's pretty mixed as far as my personal life's concerned. You'll see me out here in the Liberty Bowl making content with old Blurry. He, obviously Mexican, and we have quite a few similar beliefs and morals due to we stem from the same culture. Flat out. This is going to move us into the next subject, which ties right in, right? So the Norwegian government is funding, one of the most odd research I've ever, had the displeasure of reading. This is another situation where you think, like, is this real? You got to research it from different sources, and lo and behold, it's real. All right, so the Norwegian government is paying $12 million for the research into finding if white paint is racist. You heard that right. This is no bullshit. Is white paint racist? All right. So apparently, they're one of the first countries to mass produce white paint. They call it titanium white. That's one of the first commercially traded white paints around the globe. Apparently, it's in the vast majority of every white surface you've been around. And they feel pretty bad about it, right? The absolute self-loathing here. They said that the white paint has contributed to white supremacies around the globe, even though they were not a colonial power. In other words, they didn't have slaves. Okay, but they went on to say that, like I said, it's everywhere around us, and that whiteness is basically tied to skin privilege. Absolutely hilarious. Systemic exclusion, and that it materializes all around us, and that they are looking at it through historical, aesthetic, and critical eyes, right? Critical race theory, right? That's the cultural Marxist theory that everything around you is racist, right? I mean, they'll find racist in peanut butter, they find racist in mayonnaise, they find racism in women wearing dreadlocks, right? When Greeks were wearing them thousands of years ago. It's an absolute clown show over there. We are watching, the destabilization and disintegration of Western civilization in real time, and this is a big part of the whole diversity deal, right? This is you let people in, you help them out, then they make you feel bad for past events that you had absolutely nothing to do with, right? Again, this is costing $12 million. The research is called Norway'S. And I can absolutely think of a hell of a lot better things to spend $12 million on. Like I said, you want to think this is a joke, but this is you watching what your ancestors built be destroyed on a daily basis for absolutely no reason than moral grandstanding and appeasement, or an attempt at appeasement that's never going to come. All right. So moving on here, old Ron Desantis down in Florida, right? The old killer, right? He is hell bent on the de-woking of Florida at minimum, possibly making a run for the White House. But he is trying to kill BlackRock down in Florida as best as possible, and their old ESG scores, which is environmental scores, and it rates businesses on who they'll invest in based on their carbon footprint or their attempt to reduce or push propaganda as well, right? Ron DeSantis has come out and said that the state retirement fund there will absolutely no longer base retirement off of ESG scores, and that they have a responsibility to their fiduciaries to make the return as large as possible, regardless of what BlackRock or Vanguard wants to tell you, or the WEF for that matter. But we know who owns BlackRock, and we know who owns Vanguard. They're all over there. All right. So again, DeSantis, straight monster. I kind of hope he doesn't run, just for to skip a lot of the drama and the primaries with those crumbsicles. Number one, and then number two, Florida needs him, and America needs him as a governor right now, right? Let's stabilize some other shit, find your replacement, and please, by all means, make that run, right? Moving on, final subject here. Plenty of you have heard about Ivan Propov, right? Plays for the Philadelphia Flyers. Russian, and they recently wore some practice jerseys that were the rainbow pride flag. All right, he was the only one that refused to do so. Leftists are absolutely melting down all over the inner zones. Right, they just can't stop shitting their pants. But the man stuck to his guns and came out and said, "Well, I'll let him explain himself. Check it out."
I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, that's all I'm going to comment on that. If you have any hockey questions, I would answer those.
Can you just clarify what clarify your religion?
Russian Orthodox.
So with the game tonight, Ivan, obviously Kevin Hayes got a hat trick, and Erasmus's first goal.
Right? So, he says, I respect everybody. You have your personal beliefs. I have mine. I'm just going to stay true to myself. What's wrong with that, right? Again, this is, the diversity thing. They believe in diversity of everything except thought. All right? And if they have their way, your head's going to be the only place that free speech exists. just like some Orwellian Draconian nightmares, right, Bobby? Right, but anyway, he stated he's an Orthodox, Christian, which is Russian, and it's just one more example of how the rest of the world, excluding the West, is raising men, while we're raising kids to live off soy and cut their junk off and get axe gashes, right? Festering, yucky axe gashes, stinking. But, anyway, it also went on to show that the vast majority of NHL fans absolutely hate woke, as his jerseys went on to sell out on NHL.com and Fanatics, which is where I get all these dope hats you see me in all these shows. Fanatics is the doo-doo for merchandise, especially for NHL gear. Because it's hard to find in a lot of places, but anyway, this is what a peak male looks like. All right, he'll score a goal on you, he'll drop you, he'll beat the shit out of you, and he'll stand up for his own morals and beliefs, which reverts back to what I was saying earlier, right? But tell me to fuck off, debate me, leave some comments, like, share, subscribe. Smell you later.